Hey everyone, Steve Ferguson here, your Modern Mortgage Loan Advisor. Thanks for tuning in and watching this video today. Today, it's all about veterans. Let me tell you, veterans are so near and dear to my heart. I'm a prior service veteran as well, and so love working with veterans. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your service. You're underappreciated, and I absolutely appreciate you. My family appreciates you. Thank you for all that you do. So today, we're going to talk about a VA Streamline Refinance loan to help you, if you're a veteran, save a bunch of money and make it a little easier for you to do a refinance that other people don't get benefits or have the ability to do because they haven't served in the military. So before we get started, do me a favor, like or subscribe. Click that button, man, subscribe, share this video with your friends and your family, or if you're a veteran, share it with your VA buddies. That way they know how to get this refinance done as well, save a bunch of money, and it's always good when we save money, right? All right, let's get started. Now, got my handy dandy screen over here I'm going to be looking at just for some important notes and topics. But what I want to do today is define what a VA Streamline Refinance is. Okay. Now I actually have the definition right here, and I'm going to read the definition and I'm going to give you the common sense version of it as well. So the definition, which means it's officially called a VA interest rate reduction loan, which is an IRRRL loan, is a simplified way for someone who already has a VA mortgage to replace it with a new VA loan that usually has a lower interest rate, lower payment, or better terms, such as switching from an adjustable rate to a fixed rate, and is streamlined because it typically requires less documentation. Like you could do it without an appraisal, you can do it with no credit qualifying. There's several different versions of this product. Now, the cool thing about this loan is it gives you flexibility. So in my opinion, a VA Streamline Refinance means, hey, I want to go from a VA to a VA loan, and I want it to be as easy as possible, and I want to save the most amount of money possible. That's what this is, okay? So there's a couple different versions of this Streamline VA loan, and we're going to talk about those as we continue to move forward. And I'm going to get into kind of the nitty-gritty details of what you have to have in order to qualify for a VA Streamline Refinance, okay? So it's only available for borrowers who are currently in a VA mortgage now. So you bought a home, you did it with a VA loan, you've owned the home for a certain amount of time, which we're going to break into here in a second. Now you're ready to save a little bit of money because interest rates may be lower. Well, this is for you, okay? Now, what we're going to talk about is the structure of what this does, how it operates, how long it takes, and what you can expect when you do one, all right? So key features, again, very simplified process, okay? Often no new appraisal. So I did one recently that we didn't have to get an appraisal at all. There's different versions of this that we can select. So it doesn't even matter if your home is upside down on that program. Doesn't matter what that happens to be. Still allows you to roll in closing costs and do things a little differently, whereas some of the others do not. Lighter income and credit documentation. It's not near as stringent as like a normal mortgage loan is. And you get faster closing than a traditional refinance because the loan is already VA backed. So you're just converting it to a better interest rate, for lack of a better description, which again, I'm a big fan of saving money. Now, on the Streamline Refinance, you cannot get cash out of the transaction, and I'm in Texas. You can do it in Texas anyway. Other states do allow it, but this is simply a rate in term, which means you're shifting from your current rate in term to a new rate in term. You're not getting any money back at closing. You're just all about saving money in your monthly payment. Okay, that's how this program is designed. Now, let's talk about some basic eligibility. Excuse me, I can't talk today. Basic eligibility points. Already have to have a VA loan. That's an easy one, right? I've got to be able to provide you a net tangible benefit. So what that means is when we look at the total closing costs of this VA mortgage, your benefit, which means your monthly savings, has to be able to pay for the cost of the refinance within 36 months. So for example, if you save $150 a month, I tell you, we're going to do easy math here because 150 is going to be more complicated. Let's say you save $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. So over a 3-year period of time, it's $3,600. So as long as your refinance does not cost more than $3,600, that's qualifying point number 2. Okay. So you have to have a break even within that period of time. Now, the other important thing is you have to have seasoning on your current mortgage. So the rule states that you've got to be at least 6 months of payments and at least 210 days since the first payment due date. So for example, you bought your home January of 25. Your first payment was not due till March. So that's payment 1. You have to be 6 payments in. So March, April, May, June, July, August of 2025, which would equal 210 days essentially, you would now qualify for the VA Streamline Refinance. That's how the math is done. Most people don't have an issue with this, but if it's something quick, you'd want to make sure that you do the math and know that you've owned your home and made enough payments to qualify for the Streamline Refinance. Not much fun working on this and getting all excited about savings if you don't qualify. Now, the other important thing is let's make sure you're staying in your home a certain amount of time. If you're going to turn this into a rental property or sell it, and you're not going to break even, there's no point in doing a refinance at all. So talk to a professional. Let's do some real math. Let's figure out the numbers and make sure it makes sense for you. I don't want this to be about me and my paycheck. I want this to do with you and how much you can save per month. That's what this is all about. Okay? Now, core VA eligibility rules. We've already got the VA back loan. You've already got the net tangible benefit. You can already certify that you've lived there for a certain amount of time. And if there's a second lien, but usually this isn't in Texas, but in your state, if there was a second lien behind your first lien, the first lien was a VA loan, you'd have to make sure your second lien would resubordinate. That's pretty straightforward, not happening very often. Your payment seasoning requirements we've already talked about. So that's it. Pretty straightforward. Now, when we're looking at different options here for a VA loan, we're selecting which one you want to have. Credit qualifying or non-credit qualifying. Appraisal, no appraisal. They make a difference, and that makes a difference on how you can do your loan, if you need to pay your closing costs out of pocket, if you can roll your closing costs in. So that's something you definitely want to have a conversation with your loan officer. And if you're in the state of Texas, I hope you're calling me. Let's talk about that and figure out, what's the best one for you and your family. Some people want to pay their closing costs and eliminate this other stuff. It's going to save you the most amount of money. And other people want to roll in everything and not write a check for anything. And that's possible on these types of loans. So anyway, keep that in mind. Now, rolling costs into a Streamline Refinance. So your new loan amount is calculated as the remaining principal on your current loan. So if you owe $250,000, plus your finance closing costs and fees, including the funding fee. And by the way, the funding fee on a VA Streamline Refinance is only 0.5%. If you have VA disability, it goes away. Whereas on a traditional VA purchase, your first-time funding fee is substantially more. And if you used it again, you're talking over 3% for your subsequent VA funding fee. We're not going to get into all that today, but just know your VA funding fee is much lower. So that can all be rolled in depending on which one you want to do, as long as it all stays within a VA and lender limits. So there are caveats on the way that this calculates. We use a proprietary product that allows us to plug in details on your specific situation, and it spits out some of this information for us. That's why it's important to figure this out from a lender who knows how to do VA Streamline Refinances. Okay? Now, because costs are added to the balance, you bring less or nothing to closing, right? But your principal is a little higher. So if you have a $250,000 mortgage and then it costs $5,000 for closing costs, now you owe $255,000, which can increase your monthly payments and your interest that you pay over time. But again, you have to have net tangible benefit to do a VA Streamline Refinance. Otherwise, you can't do it anyway. So really important to know those calculations. And then if you give us information about how much you owe, what the home is worth, the benefits of what a Streamline Refinance would look like for you, my goodness, I've been tongue-tied today, then we can run those numbers, put it together, and create some scenarios. Even correcting your escrow accounts, there's a lot of things that we can do on the refinance and kind of give you a reset versus what you have right now. A lot of my friends, as an example, are calling me going, Steve, man, my taxes have gone crazy. What's going on with my escrow account? And we're doing escrow analysis and we're doing other things, and there tends to be a lot of errors. So on a refinance, that gives us the ability to correct those errors, get the escrow account corrected, and set up for success. So that way you're not having those major shifts, or at least hopefully you're not in the foreseeable future. So that's a VA Streamline Refinance. Pretty straightforward. There is a lot of flexibility in it. The key for you guys, got to be a veteran, got to own the home for a certain amount of time, reduce VA funding fee, and you have a cap on how soon you must recoup the costs that it costs to refinance your VA mortgage loan. So pretty simple. Now, how do you get started on this? What are the first steps? So the first step is a loan application. Loan application takes about 15 minutes. You can do it securely online via my website, and that information is in the comment section below. If you don't know it, it's stevefergusonteam.com, and you click apply now. literally 15 minutes of your time. It's going to automatically notify me, and then I'm going to let you know within 24 hours or less what your mortgage loan is probably going to look like. So that's step number one. Step number two, once we decide on what type of loan you're getting. So for example, if there's an appraisal necessary, whatever it happens to be, and you're like, yep, I'm ready to go. Disclosures go out to you. We get disclosures signed, and we start moving forward on the loan. From start to finish, you can anticipate 30 days or less. If no appraisal is required, it'll be a shorter amount of time for sure. If we do need to get an appraisal, then it just depends on the appraisal and how long it takes. But the good news is in the 30-day period of time or less, you're going to be in a much better position. The other cool thing is you can generally skip a month's worth of mortgage payments. So for example, if you're in January now and we close you in February, you won't have a payment in March. Your first payment will be due in April. So it gives you a reset on your mortgage. And honestly, there's ways to skip 2 months on these products as well that may set you up for even more success when you're doing a refinance. And then we get you closed at a title company if you're in the state of Texas. If you're in another state, it could be in an escrow company or a lawyer's office or wherever it happens to be. But in Texas, it's at a title company. And you sign some documents, you get done, everything's happy, and you're finished. Congratulations, you just saved a bunch of money on your mortgage every single month because you're paying less. So straightforward, easy stuff to do. The details are below. The link is below for the loan application to get completed. And that's going to get you across the finish line and help you be a much happier soldier or prior service soldier and save money on that house that you've owned for a minute. Now, help your friends out who are military. Send them this video. I know I kind of screwed up my mouth a couple of times and hesitated and had a little bit of fumbling and mumbling going on. So I apologize for that. But I want you guys to know I'm real. I'm not one of those guys who goes here and edits a bunch of video. I'm a one-take kind of guy. I want you guys to have this information, know the information, and let you know that you're set up for success. And so I promise you, I know my mortgage is better than I can talk on this computer screen. After 26 years of doing these types of loans, you learn a lot of good information. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Like or subscribe, and I hope you have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.